Oh my. Oh my. We're live. We're live tonight. How about that? I sent Travis a link, but I don't know if he's gonna show up tonight. Uh yeah. I'm doing good, Sam of Anarchy. How you doing, buddy? Let me know if my mic is working. So all right, it's working. It's good. Scott 79's out there. What's going on, Scott? How you doing, buddy? Mr. F and H is in the house. Or is he in the garage? Or are you in the basement, F and H? Where I don't know where you are in your vicinity, but you're somewhere. You're somewhere, dude. You're somewhere. All right. Travis is jumping in soon. So we'll be Travis tonight. I sent links out, but I don't mind if not if it's just Travis that shows up. Okay. Mr. FNH says he's in the kitchen getting food. That's a great place to be. Totally great place to be. So we're waiting on Travis and then we'll get started when Travis gets here. So oh, I 3D printed something today. I'm still in the process of cleaning it up so I can test it out. But look what I made. A P320 compact grip module with my 3D printer. That only took me a few hours today. Like 3 or 4 hours to make this. So is it perfect? No. Will it work? Yeah. Am I gonna use it long term? No. But it will work. It will work. So I know I'm on a big 3D printing kick, but I mean when I can print a 3D grip module, a P320 grip module for like $3, I can print this for $3 instead of paying 40 freaking dollars for this. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I am certainly gonna do it because my original one is right here. Okay. But here's the thing. Remember the P320. I'm gonna do something very naughty right now. This is the actual firearm of the P320. That's it. That's it right there. That's the firearm part. That's the serialized part. So if I can print this for like $3 or $4 using just my 3D printer, why the hell not? I mean, get different colors, make one in FDE, make one in, OD green, make one in black. I mean, yeah, sure. This is the first print. It's an experimental print, so it doesn't look the greatest. Okay, I'll state that right now. It does not look the best. So, okay, so you give you a little more light so you can see what I'm talking about. You see the lines and everything, but overall, it will work. This will work. I just got to clean it up because I can't get the fire control group in the small little slot it's supposed to go into. You know, because the back right here is supposed to go into a slot in the back, and it just you know I got to clean it out with a probably a pocket knife or something. So, but I mean, $3 or $4 making that with then paying $40. Yeah, I've got a Chairman One Glock 19 uh lower printing, which I just need to get the locking block, the rear block, and a fire control group for that. And I've got another slide and barrel for that. So yeah, so again, as I said, 3D printing is good, and we're gonna talk about a little bit about that tonight. I I'm trying. I'm doing what I can. It's you know so I'm trying to do that. Yeah, it's looking good on mine. It might be that you're buffering, Scott, because it seems fine on my end. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Is that better? Hopefully, that's better. I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying. I really am. I'm in the process of getting the streaming server fixed because I have to get more hard drives to it. I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet, so I'm working on that. I'm waiting on Travis to jump in. Travis, Travis, you out there, Travis? Jump in, Travis. Apparently, we're waiting on his laptop. You know. Yeah, I mean, uh, again, I'll show this off because this is just the grip module. It's not the gun. It's just the module that you put in. But yeah, I mean, does it have rough edges? Yeah, you can see it's got some rough edges. It's not entirely. It's not entirely. It's not all. You can see imperfections. Okay, I can fix that using a heat gun to try and smooth it out. I could also sand it down to make it look perfect. I could, paint it and make it look perfect. So, uh, you know, but again, that's just, that's the pitfalls of 3D printing. Is every print going to be perfect? No. But is it going to be usable? Is it going to be, you know, something you're going to be able to use, for a certain amount of time until you need to print another one? Yes. I mean, remember, nothing lasts forever, okay? And things aren't built to, to last anymore. But, with 3D printing, you can if a part breaks, you can print out a new one. And, if that part breaks again, you can just print another one. I mean, that's the benefits of 3D printing. So, let's see. I got a text message from Travis. Says he's firing up the laptop, so all right. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, we're just waiting on Travis. But yeah. Trigger pinhole? No, that's the look at it again. That's not the trigger pinhole. That's the magazine catch. That's the magazine catch. Because on mine, what do you see there? That's the magazine catch right there. See? That's where the magazine catch goes. So I got to get a magazine catch that, fits that. So anyways, I just figured I'd mention that. I'm waiting on Travis, so here we go. Anyways, but if it can do just that, I'm happy it does that. So there we go. Looks good enough for government work. So, anyways, what's going on with you guys tonight? Anything interesting? Anything cool? I'm waiting on people to mention something, so I'm waiting on you guys. As far as hit or miss, yes, we're gonna talk about a few things, but I'm trying to wait for my panelists to show up because they said they show up. So let's see how that works. Excuse me. Having beef vegetable soup. Ooh, yeah. This is my Avengers T-shirt. I don't wear it that often. So, is that a travel?
Yes, it is a Travi.
Trav.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, buddy?
Good. I saw you posted a video on what was it? Enjoying 3D printing, or what you call
it? I'm living the dream.
Living the dream. Yes.
Living the dream. The dream that Artisan Tony, started me off on. I'll tell you that right now. It's totally Tony's fault. I mean, don't let him tell you otherwise. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. I still blame Squib for getting me into reloading. So
Yeah. Yep. So
oh yeah, man.
put that away.
So what are your latest creations, man? What have you put out there?
There we go. P320 grip module.
Damn.
I printed this out in like 3 or 4 hours today. Now, is it perfect? Is it perfect? No. But is it well enough that you could just, clean it up with an X-Acto knife and slap all the parts in there and go with it? Yes.
Holy crap, dude.
No. So, again, you know how much this cost me just in filament?
About $25.
That's $3 or $4. That's how much filament it cost. Yes.
How much does Sig sell them for?
Sig sells them for like $40 or $50.
Oh my god!
And you can print, and if you get a 3D printer, you can print one out between 4 or 5.
They're injection molding theirs. They're not even spending the time to 3D print them. They're stamping them out for probably a nickel.
They're molding them, which that's one of 3D printing. I would argue that 3D printing might be a little stronger than mold. But but only if you're doing fine quality prints and not just doing like quick and dirty like I am. But quick and dirty sometimes works.
Now you haven't checked to see if the trigger pack will fit, have you?
It will fit. I just got to get the I got to get the back end where the trigger pack slides into.
Oh,
I got to get an X-Acto knife and get all that crap out.
So now legally, the G17, I couldn't print that unless I was going to print it as an 80%, right?
The P320 grip module
is a module. Yeah,
you can print this all day long because remember the trigger pack is the actual gun.
That's the registered firearm. Yeah, I was just saying because you were letting me know that there was G17s and stuff out there, and I couldn't do it technically because
I got away with showing it live on air too. So hey,
yeah.
Oh yeah. So because it's just
we live over on GunTube or what?
No, we're just live on YouTube right now. So
okay. Oh, we are live on YouTube already.
Yeah, we're live on YouTube.
Holy cow, you're saying 7:30, man. God,
I said 8. You said 8, and I said 8. And I went like 5 minutes early. Okay.
No, I thought you said 8:30 your time, 7:30.
I said you said 8 a.m. and I'm like, no, I think you mean 8 p.m.
Well, I was probably driving when I responded.
Probably
to you. So,
I didn't mean to bother you with the text messages, dude.
I have Siri do the dictation for me, but I'm
taking my camera off because I don't have anything else to show. But the problem is right now with 3D printing. They don't have a P365 frame you can print out, so nobody's made one yet. So once somebody makes
that really surprises me though, because as popular as that gun is,
it surprises me too. But once somebody does make one, you can just go and print that out, and there you go. Because the trigger pack is the same.
Well, I wonder if anybody, when you do those, are those just going to be just a generic recreation that fits the dimensions, or is it going to be Sig's copy, or what do you think?
Yoder saying another school situation. Yeah, we've seen that. I heard about that.
Texas.
Yeah,
I want to know the details about the shooter, though. I mean, I want to know because he killed his grandmother, and what was his motive to go to the school? Was it because it was nearby and he knew he was going to be on his way out, or was that planned?
I know.
See, that's just it. We don't know any of the details just yet to really say anything.
Yeah, I don't know any details. Until I have details on all these things, I'm not talking about it, okay? I know before we used to, and it's just like, I don't necessarily want to because I don't want to be seen as somebody who's just talking out of his ass because I don't know all the details.
Yeah. Well, unless you want to address an issue about
I know I'm looking at the live chat, Yoder. I am. It's just I'm going slow because you guys comment, and I just have to go through all the comments. So
yeah, dude, you just can't always see it immediately. I mean, it's we're trying to look, we're also trying to manage a bunch of other screens at one time, so it's not like you just.
I've got 3 screens in front of me, guys. So I got one for the camera, I got one,
I run mine off of one, so it's even harder.
I've got one just to screw around with. So, again, thank you for joining us, Travis.
Oh, absolutely, man. Heck yeah, dude. So good topics for tonight. Future of 80% builds, maybe some two-way stuff, 3D printing talk. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but the future of 80% builds is looking grim right now. Considering the ATF is given. Did you see what they did to JSD Supply?
So they basically kind of manhandled them into not selling anything at this point. Is that right?
They gave him a cease and desist, saying, "Do not
Which
sell
they
any more
just
parts whatsoever." Which, you know, the date they're not supposed to be selling any more parts is supposed to be in August, not just like last week. But apparently they're saying
yeah,
they're
and
preemptively giving companies cease and desist orders early instead of after they're not supposed to be because of the redefinition rules. And I hate to say it, but there are tons of lawsuits over this 80% thing going on.
yeah.
I sincerely hope that the ATF is going to get hosed because of lawsuits. I hope there's going to be so many lawsuits that they're going to have to walk back because they can't handle all the lawsuits. I really hope that's going to happen.
I mean, if there's a law out there or some sort of amendment or right that says that we can manufacture our own firearms for self-consumption, use, then I don't see what their arguing point is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, they're worried that
Yeah,
that criminals are going to get them and they're going to do wrong things with them. It's like,
they're the
criminals are
cartels,
going to
they
get guns
make their own
regardless.
mowers.
If a criminal
They're
wants
not
a
ordering from
firearm,
JSD Supply. They're making their own. What are you talking about? They don't. You think they want a paper trail that leads back to them if they're going to do something bad? Absolutely not. They probably got their own CNC machines and they're making their own.
Yeah, criminals can steal their own. They can steal their own. CNC machines.
Yeah, I mean, you can regulate anything until it's unobtainium, but bad people of the world will still get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I take Mexico as a great example where you're limited on what you can own for firearms and how many you can own. There's only one actual gun store, I think, in all of
Mexico.
Either in Mexico City or all Mexico, one that you can go through to get a gun, and you're limited to like a 380 or maybe a shotgun or something like that.
Exactly.
And they still have massive problems because of the cartel. The cartel is better outfitted than their own police forces, and the average person stuck in the middle can't do anything to defend themselves.
Yeah.
So, or again, the knife murders that are up in countries that have banned guns, or people just use vehicles instead because they want to use anything. It's like I was having a talk. My mom and I were talking about the shooting down in Texas today after school, and we were just chatting about it. And I said, you can't take the evil out of people. You can only take out the evil people. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. You're never going to stop people from doing bad things. So why limit your ability to defend yourself against evil? I don't understand.
Speaking of that, the guy that shot up that church in Texas, a while back, and then that guy in Texas chased him down.
Yeah.
Apparently, that guy was on John Trump today, and he's now working with the GOA.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the guy that ran down the other dude with his AR and stopped him. Is that the one that chased him down? The good guy, right?
Yeah, the good guy.
Yeah. What was the deal? Was he kind of in the middle of cleaning his rifle when that happened? And he was like, didn't he just grab like a half a mag or something and go after him with or something? It was like a real kind of raggedy setup he took when he went. It wasn't like he had like a full kit that he went after the guy with.
He was just doing his thing,
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, I don't know.
I don't know either.
But here's the thing though. Okay, so JSD Supply gets stopped or whatever. But I just went over to 80% arms, and they're still selling stuff left and right. They got no restrictions or anything on them. I mean, I don't understand. Is it because JSD is one of the biggest ones? That's why they went after them first, or what?
Well, see, here's the thing. JSD isn't really even the biggest. I would say the biggest is Polymer 80.
Well, but I mean, does Polymer 80 sell 80% anodized receiver blanks?
No,
like 80% arm, and even 80% arms does their own version of a Polymer 80 kit too. It's not Polymer 80; it's their own. They do their own.
Yeah.
All right. So the thing is, these are just all suggestions, right? This stuff has not actually been written into law.
No, it hasn't yet.
All these things the ATF does. So after a certain date, there's going to be recommendations that we're supposed to follow, the people that own these accessories and firearms. Recommendations, but not actual enforceable laws. Like, so if you get pulled over and you've got the brace on your gun and the ATF says you can't because it makes it an SBR, but it's not an actual law, then what happens? I mean, are we going to have people that are actually going to get I understand if it's something that's been banned, like a bump fire stock. I get that. It's something that's been listed and banned. I'm not saying I support it at all. I'm just saying if it's something that's contraband now, all right, I understand that. But if there's just recommendations you don't do something, could you be arrested for an illegal configuration of your firearm and charged? That's what I'm kind of curious, because I don't see any lack of dudes, enjoying their AR pistols in YouTube videos. I don't see any lack of that these days. Nobody seems to be afraid of it. People are still shouldering. People are still putting magnified optics on their pistols. They don't seem to care about the 4-point system. So I don't understand how any of this is actually enforceable. Is it just that creating that scare that they think is going to prevent people from doing these things, or what?
I guess they're just they're hoping like the fear of God or something, or the fear of getting taken to prison or something. Or I don't know.
Maybe they're trying to create this list of suggestions, hoping that something will stick to the wall and it'll actually become a law, essentially.
Probably.
That's I don't know.
It
just really bothers me. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, what else we got coming up? Apparently they want to start requiring uppers too. Is that supposed to come down now too, or not? Is that something that's supposed to happen?
No, they're trying to get rid of braces now.
Yeah.
Right.
So we say braces. What about stabilizing fins? Are those also on the list too?
I don't know.
Okay, because I went through the 4-point system just for the heck of it. That form 4999 that's supposed to classify your determine whether or not your AR pistol is an SBR or not.
It is,
and basically,
and it is not.
Well, I mean, like if you have, what was I doing? I mean, it's got to fit certain weight and measurement requirements, length of pull requirements. Which length of pull shouldn't matter because you're not shouldering it. So I don't understand why they have a length of pull requirement. That makes no sense to me whatsoever if you're not supposed to be shouldering it. But they obviously didn't think that through because they're the geniuses at the ATF. But if you put like a red dot on it, like what's the deal? You have any kind of magnified optic, it's automatically like a 1 or 2 point hit for it. If you have any kind of like a SBA brace on the back, it's a 1 or 2 point hit. You have a rear flip up side and a red dot, it's then going to put you like at 3 points. I mean, it's absolutely, so basically I don't know if there's any actual configuration that you can have that's not going to have 4 points. I suppose if it's just the AR pistol with either a red dot and no stability device on the back, or like just like a flip up iron sight in the rear and no red dot and no stability device, then you're still within the 4-point definition,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, we got
really sad too. Is I got a lot of
more comments. M. Gabriel said it was Stephen Wilford. Yes, Stephen Wilford. He was asleep barefoot, and he had to load a bag with 8 rounds.
Yeah.
Mexico is a bad example. Ask 556 says we don't have cartels. I've been pro-gun my entire life, but I'm sick of seeing little kids die from these crazy mass shooters. These mass shooters are getting guns way too easy. Maybe the gun laws do need to be tightened up a little bit. I don't know what the answer is, but something needs to be done. Well, you want something done? You want something done? Here's the solution. Okay. And it's not the solution what people want. It's not the solution that they're going to do, but it's the only solution. You need an armed police officer at a school with probably an AR-15. He needs to have an AR-15 with a 30-round magazine.
Here's the thing, though. Some of these
campuses I know. It sounds awful. It sounds awful.
Some of these campuses are the size of a city block. In my opinion, you need teachers that, if they wish to do so, that would be allowed to carry at school. That's the one way you can defend those kids, because there's no guarantee that your security is going to get to you to save you in time. And the thing is, I'm kind of curious, if a person knew that there were armed individuals in a school, lots of armed individuals in school, do you think they'd actually want to go in there and try to do their mass killing? Maybe they would, because they wouldn't care, because they know they're going to get so many before they get hit. But I mean, do you really think they'd want to go into a place that, I mean, and people do rob places that have guards on that, but if you had, a few armed cops at the door and had the kids walking through metal detectors and stuff, and it's kind of interesting.
My whole line of thinking is, stop. You want people to stop dying because of mass shooters. Okay, here is the solution, and it's the solution nobody wants. nobody wants to accept, but it's the only solution viable. Okay, you want to stop mass shootings? Stop making gun-free zones. Problem solved. That's how you stop. That's the answer.
Well,
it's not the answer the other side wants,
dude. It's a
but
multi.
if you don't have armed
multifaceted
security, if
problem.
you don't
Right?
have
It's
armed
more than just
police,
that, dude.
armed police in those areas, then guess what? People are going to die regardless. And you know what? Here's another thing. You don't like people getting guns and doing bad things. Well, guess what? Newsflash. You don't give them guns, they use knives. You take away their knives, they use blunt objects like baseball bats, metal baseball bats, and whatever blunt or sharp object
axes.
It doesn't matter what you do to try and get rid of the weapon. The person that is going to do evil is going to do evil regardless of the medium they use. The item, the tool,
they do
the
bad
weapon,
things in the truck.
They're going to do it regardless with whatever they got in front of them. So if they got a spike, they're going to use a spike. If they have a gun, they're going to use a gun. Okay. If they can't use a gun, they'll use a knife. They'll use whatever it is to do evil, regardless of the situation. It doesn't matter.
And nice, Rick, let me ask you a question. 9 out of 10 times when that bad guy's finally put down, what puts that bad guy down? Either themselves with their own firearm, or what?
A good guy with a gun.
A good guy with a gun. Yeah, I mean, that's it. And if they're in a vehicle, it's even more dangerous to try to stop somebody.
But that's my point. I mean, I'm not. I'll ask you 556. I'm not trying to yell at you. I'm not trying to argue with you, man. I'm just saying that honestly, the solution is stop having gun-free zones, or have a station truant officer that is armed that can respond and make sure he has the proper equipment to respond with. I mean, it sucks. It doesn't sound like a great answer, but it's really the only answer. Because look, you've got a gun-free zone. Okay, it's gun-free. Okay, so that means people can't defend themselves, teachers can't defend themselves, the principal can't defend himself, the children can't defend themselves. So what is the answer? You have a truant officer or a police officer stationed at that school that is there to protect it in case somebody does something like that. That's your only answer. And they're like, well, we don't really want them carrying guns. Well, then I guess you just want children to die. That's really that's the answer. And it sounds awful. They're not going to do it. But, that's really the only way to solve that kind of thing. And you can argue with me all day long, but I know what's right and I know what's wrong. And it's wrong to have a gun-free zone and then complain about, children dying when you could just station a police officer there with a gun. They did that when I was when I was in high school. They had police officers at the high school stationed there, as truant officers. And guess what? They carried guns. They were allowed to carry.
Most schools do have some sort of that type.
They were allowed to carry their guns,
presence.
and guess what?
Yeah.
I felt totally safe. But
it doesn't mean you're still not going to have threats. It still doesn't mean you're going to have kids that are going to say they're going to want to do things. I mean, that's right. that can happen regardless of what kind of defense force you have at that location, and it doesn't matter. But there's just a lot. There's just a lot of things that need to change for this kind of thing to go away too. I mean, there's, again, I'm gonna say it. Mental health resources are very important, and in a lot of places they're either not available or they're too expensive for people to get them for the people that they know that need it. I mean, that's another reality behind it. There's just a lot of things that need to change in order for this thing to slow down, or to, I don't know if it's ever necessarily going to go away. Right. And then, of course, you got your media that's going to promote it.
I'm sorry, guys. I got on a tangent on this, and I really didn't want to talk about this tonight. So, but yeah, as far as what's going on with that, let's go through some of the comments. M. Gabriel said JSD pissed off the Pennsylvania Attorney General by buying Eagle Arms Show so they can continue to sell. Yeah, well, I hate to say it, but that Attorney General, he's going to be out of a job soon, one way or another, because he's trying to run for governor. And it looks like maybe the Republican is more favored this time than he is, because apparently people don't like him in Pennsylvania.
So that's his little parting thank you.
What's his name? Josh Shapiro. Yeah, people don't like him.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah. So, but again, I get that. Again, Gabriel goes on to say, he's saying children are not raised with any real responsibility and trust, such that when they are 18 and gain firearm access, they don't know how to behave themselves. Apparently, a Border Patrol officer rushed in, no backup, and shot Perp through barricade after being shot himself. Yep. Alaska says he's.
Here's the sad thing. Supposedly, now this is just rumor, but supposedly he posted a lot of stuff online saying that he was going to do things and he was going to whatever. There were warning signs out there that somebody could have checked up on him. I'm not saying a whole red flag here. I'm just saying if somebody posts disturbing messages and I don't want to sound like a school counselor, but it's cry for help here, or it's them saying, this is my warning to the world. I'm going to do this. Watch me do this. It's their little preemptive message.
Travis,
then
funny you should mention
people need to act up, man. People need to act up and help. You would make a great
school counselor.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm just pointing out the obvious things, dude. I'm not.
I know, but I think you'd make a great school counselor. So I'm giving you a compliment. So take the damn compliment.
I appreciate that. I'm just saying that there's a lot. And, here's the other thing too, us teachers, and I do not want contact with students on social media at all. Young people, and said, no, I don't go there. I don't go there at all. But the teachers don't know about these things because, for one thing, a lot of kids aren't going to say nothing because there's a no snitch mentality amongst kids. I hate to say it, regardless of what somebody wants to do. That's
I hate to say it, but
the other thing,
but that's kind of like, I hate to say this, but this way, but that's like the prison mentality. You don't snitch on anybody in prison either.
Yeah,
because,
even if somebody is going to do something, you don't want to get involved because
if you look at schools these days, the kids feel like they're in prison more than they are in school.
I don't know if I agree with you on that, but I think it just kind of depends on the
area, probably.
Maybe on the school or the environment. So I don't know.
But anyway,
but the other thing I want to say is that you got to understand also, people, if there's no warning signs in class and the teachers don't follow kids on social media, they don't see that. It's the families and parents and friends of those kids that do. And if this kid had any followers whatsoever and these messages were being posted, nobody said anything, then then I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just it's a tragedy is what it comes down to.
Yeah, definitely.
So because a lot of these things can be stopped if people would do something about it, even if it just means check. Now you can say, well, he got checked up on blah 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 so many times by the police, and I know that was the case with the Florida shooter. That was something that just totally fell through the cracks. That kid needed serious help.
Well,
but I'm just saying, there's so many layers where things fail and these things happen, and maybe it could have been prevented.
M. Gabriel says our elementary was the first to allow armed teachers after Sandy Hook. That's good. Rob D is out there saying, hello, everyone. I'm with Travis on this one. Let the teachers staff fight back. We don't need every little thing leading to students angering the police. I think that means angering the police. I'm not sure.
Well, I just think it should be. It should be up to the
Knives says they had a cop in his elementary and high school. Okay.
What's that?
Alaska 556 says, Night Strike, I live in Alaska. Everybody here is on multiple guns. You're not saying anything I don't know. Yeah. The difference is you cannot kill 15 kids with a knife before the guys tackle you with a gun.
I don't know about that. In a crowded environment with a big enough
you can
knife?
With a gun.
Oh.
Okay, that's what he was saying. Scott79 says, I'm pretty sure people right now don't like any Democrats. Well, if you look at gas prices, and if you look at the gas prices, then the last time you paid for gas and look at the price,
I try not to.
You probably don't like a Democrat right now, because I'm pretty sure if you look at the pump right now, there's probably a sticker of Joe Biden on it saying I did that.
Yeah, that's and I want nothing more than a pickup truck right now, and I can't bring myself to buy one. I could afford to drive it, I just don't want to. I've been that route. I've had the SUVs that get 19 miles to the gallon on the highway and 15 in town, and I miss that kind of utility, and I was thinking about buying one, but now the gas prices are almost triple what they were, 2 years ago. Basically, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Scott goes on to say, has it been mentioned apparently that the shooter was trans? 40% suicide rate. Yeah, it hasn't been mentioned yet. I don't know. Scott says that then they should be holding those should have said something said something responsible. Yeah. Last 556 says Night Strike. Everybody doesn't agree with our stance on guns, so the other side believes that their argument is correct and we are wrong. Yes, but the problem is on this. Guess what? There's this thing called the Second Amendment. It says the right of the people. That means the citizens of the United States of America. You, me, the guy down the street that's your neighbor. Okay? We have the right to keep and bear arms. It doesn't say but this. It doesn't say only in this situation or that. It just says we have the right to keep and bear arms. And that's the problem. That's what they ignore. They ignore that part and say, oh, that's just the military giving itself the right to own weapons. Hell, the military doesn't need any permission to own weapons. Period. The military is going to have them one way or another to fight the bad guy. That's just it. Okay. Scott goes on to say knife attacks in China have killed upwards of 30 to 50 people. Is that at the same time, or is that individual occurrences of stabbings?
Well, I mean, that's nothing compared to their own government, but still, you know.
Tim Williams says, why was the Border Patrol involved in this? Is that normal protocol? Well, it depends on how far south they were in Texas, I guess. I mean, if
maybe he was the closest unit that got called in, maybe he was just driving by, going home, and said, "Hey, we need help at the school. Any units respond?" And he might have just been in the area.
If it was,
I mean, he's got the jurisdiction to probably go anywhere if need be. So,
I mean, you got to look at it this way: if it was far enough south in Texas, like say if it was like 20 or even 30 miles from the border, and it was close enough that they could respond, then they're gonna respond and provide backup. Is it really their jurisdiction? No, but they're an armed officer. They're a federal officer. They can provide help and support or in backup if need be. I mean, do they need to be involved? Probably not. But again, would you rather have a federal officer with a gun backing you up, or would you rather be alone in that kind of situation?
Yeah, they might have just been in the area and they just were obligated to respond.
Yeah, he's probably just obligated to respond and provide backup and support. That's probably it. Is it right or wrong? That's up to what the courts say, honestly. Scott 79 says he could have been monitoring radio chatter and was literally the closest person. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Rob D says small trucks get pretty good gas mileage, Travis. And Scott says, is it Travis driving a Jeep, which is terrible on gas?
No. I sold my Cherokee to my dad 2 years ago. I got a Hyundai Kona all-wheel drive.
Okay. All right.
Mainly because the Hyundai dealer was close, good warranty, good gas mileage. I have been looking at the Ford Mavericks and also the Hyundai Santa Fe's. I was considering picking up a Maverick. All I need is something just to haul stuff out to the range and back. I really don't even go on nearly as rugged roads as I used to when I had the Jeep. Yeah. So I don't even need anything with all-wheel drive in terms of a pickup truck. I'd be fine with just the base Maverick hybrid.
I need a cheap pickup truck right now that has 4x4.
Oh God,
that's
dude!
I need 4x4.
This is the worst time to try to find that. So unless you got a working ECU in your neighborhood selling something, you're gonna be spending. I mean, I'm always on Facebook classifieds, dude, and you're looking at like $5 or $6 grand. So for a piece of crap,
I know I'm screwed. So
that's why you need a Maverick. Well, you need 4-wheel drive. So never mind. You can get that for around 25, I think, on the Maverick. You can get that with all-wheel drive.
Yeah,
maybe 30 tops. 25
All
roughly,
right, so
25,000.
Let me go through some more comments and then we'll get back to what we were talking about earlier, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so Scott 79 says, at the same time in crowded train stations, Google it's pretty freaking savage. Okay, so he's saying yes at the same time. Okay. Rob is saying BP actually has a big range around the borders of 100 miles, I believe. Okay. I did not know that. Sam Anarchy 92 is putting his 2 cents in, saying gun-free zones don't work. We know this. Scott 79 says, they're upwards of over 100 miles from the border in some places. Scott 79 says you would probably get a better deal on that little pickup that Honda I came out with, like the Maverick. Yeah, dealerships like returning customers. Yeah. All right, so we're back. We're done with that. So let's let's go back on to what we were talking about. So what were we talking about earlier?
We were talking about the future of 80% builds.
Yeah. Well, I don't think right now, until it goes through the courts, I'm gonna say 80% builds are on a rocky slope right now because of the whole situation with the ATF. So
now, has any of that recent legislation been shot down at all? That they've tried to push something through and it just didn't pass? Like, was there anything that died out in court at all that you know of, or anything recent where they tried to redefine something and it was totally shot down or not passed? You know,
I do not.
It's kind of keep up because it seems like every week there's something new that's coming out. I know that I was watching Guns and Gadgets, and he was talking about a little 300-page ATF document that came out that basically is trying to allow the ATF to justify requiring budget increase so they can like double or triple their size. They've got some report that they released, and
they can take more stuff away from us. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also justify an increased budget to increase their agents in the field essentially, and more or less trying to triple their agents in the field number. And I don't know, man.
Scott 79 says Hyundai, not Honda. Okay, Hyundai. All right.
Yeah. Well, Honda makes the Ridgeline truck, but those are expensive.
But yeah, 80% builds. I think it's going to be a rocky slope, even though we have the right to make our own guns because we've been doing it since 1776. But according to Biden and the ATF, their redefinition of the 1968 says you're not allowed to anymore, which the 1968 didn't specifically say that. They're coming up with, if you look at the law and if you look at their reasoning, they're coming up with bullshit reasoning. And it's probably going to go through the courts, and it's probably going to be, and until the ATF is basically overburdened with lawsuits, we have no idea what's going to happen. And that's my stance. Okay, I could be right, I could be wrong, and people say, well, the ATF isn't going to ever be overburdened. I disagree. I disagree on that. You can overburden somebody with lawsuits.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll back off.
Scott, you're not saying anything that nobody disagrees with right now. You are not saying anything that nobody disagrees with right now. Everybody agrees with that current statement. And Scott is saying, you mean the ATF is overreaching like a mofo? Yep, exactly. Yep.
Oh, they haven't even begun to overreach, my friend. I mean, it's things are not looking good. Yeah.
Warsaw says, I wish the FBI would arrested the overreaching ATF for abuse of power. Well, wrongful doing, he says, but it's really abuse of power, and I really wish they would too. Yeah, the FBI does the ATF's job as far as background checks. So why the hell do we need the ATF? I mean, when's the last time you've seen the ATF actually go after people for alcohol or explosives? Never.
Which, that's probably what's making all the money right now, because they're not going after, because they're so focused on guns. Pay attention to the alcohol or illegal tobacco trafficking going on in this country. I mean,
they have to regulate tobacco. What the fuck do you need to regulate tobacco? It's legal.
It's taxation of it, I suppose. The definition of how those taxes are collected. It's
taxation.
All about money, bro.
What are they? The IRS? The IRS should handle the taxation on that.
They got to come up with the definition of the taxation. So I'm just saying,
ATF doesn't need to enforce that. The IRS has its own division of enforcement. Believe it or not, the IRS does. So why the hell do you need the ATF to do the IRS's job?
It's a good point, man.
It's just, and if anybody asks, wait, the IRS has their own law enforcement division? Yes, they do, unfortunately. If you didn't know that, they do. So it's another thing.
I don't know, man. All I would say is, if you want to do an 80% build, I would encourage you to keep doing so, because until we know for sure that something's been handed down or not, I mean, they can come knock on our door for anything that we purchased before. It doesn't necessarily just have to be an 80%, blank or whatnot. And I don't know if they necessarily even have the resources to go door to door, to be honest with you. They could do a blanket declaration essentially, or try to get a law passed, and that'd be about the only thing.
Yep. Sadly.
But I mean, with the millions of Palmer 80s that are out there, hundreds of thousands or whatnot, and then also, so many countless builds out there, I highly doubt people are going to turn them in. They'll just sit, which sucks, because if they are illegal, the bad thing about that is you wouldn't want to take it out and take it to the range if you're worried about, something would happen, you get pulled over and it's in your car, so you have them. I mean, you have them, but that's about it. That's about the only bad thing, is you couldn't do much with them if they were illegal.
Mm-hmm.
If you were, in general, but worried about getting arrested. But
yeah, I'm not worried.
No.
I don't think anybody else should be worried about it either, honestly, because it's
well. And what about all of
the companies that produce all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to lose millions and millions of dollars. Do you think they're not going to fight back? Because if they don't fight back, and they just just keel over and just take it like like a wimp, nobody's ever going to buy anything from them again. Honestly, and they're going to lose out their entire shirt. It doesn't make sense for any company to give up like that.
Yeah,
personal opinion.
They will, and hopefully they've got the resources to do so. I know that they're backed up by like GOA and other companies or other organizations like that.
Tony, are you going to show us how you 3D printed a spaceship?
No, I was gonna
because I saw you,
UFO.
I saw you and Alexi were talking earlier, and I was wondering, is Tony going to tell us about the time he 3D printed a spaceship?
No, I was so impressed with the cleanliness of that print. I was going to remind you what they used to look like.
Oh yeah, I know. But that reminds me. Okay,
look how rough that was.
Yeah. When 3D printing started becoming a thing, I really wanted to get a 3D printer, but I didn't get one for a long time. I wanted to get one. I had one at one point, and I sold it because it was junk. But
Tony was 3D printing back in 2013. This guy was so far ahead of the time.
Tony was there, and the first time I came across a video of Tony's, it was about 3D printing, and he was trying to 3D print a knife.
Oh, that's the one that's got a bunch of views. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people went nuts. People went nuts over that too.
Yeah, it was a good video.
They were like, "You're gonna encourage terrorists to print knives and kill people."
No, you're not. You're just gonna tell people you're gonna 3D print videos, 3D print stuff. That's it.
3D print videos. Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna
3D print you if you don't shut up. Yeah.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah,
crazy
that's the
stuff.
First video right there that I've ever watched of artists.
Let's see. Dang it.
So hey, you know what? Tony's a wise old sage here.
Yeah.
So, or Tony, or fellow Jitster, as you go by there. Tony, what's your take on this whole 3D or this whole 80% debacle? Do you think people need to worry about their purchases? You really think we're going to get some door-to-door confiscation? What level do you think they're going to take it to? In your years of experience and just the way you kind of see things going, because a lot of people like to cry, whatever, wolf or whatnot, or the sky is falling.
I'm trying to get to where I can turn off screen sharing because I can't find what I'm trying to look for. I don't think it'll go.
It'll go away.
I think we're probably, if we can survive till the midterms and then the next election, we'll be fine.
Yeah, if we don't lose it before then.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things on the right. You got a lot of distractions right now with the Ukraine war, Russia, whatever. China's threatening to invade Taiwan. I mean, you got
but the school shooting today was one of those things that's going to help push the issue.
Yeah, Supreme Court leaks, all that kind of stuff, abortion, all that stuff. So, I mean, I think short of some kind of executive order, I don't think you'd see anything anytime soon.
Yeah.
But
well, it's just they're trying to do a redetermination, and they're trying to do it on the GCA, and it doesn't look like it looks like they're getting away with it right now. But again, it's being fought in court by a couple of companies right now. But again, we'll know in the future whether they succeeded or not, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, New York Outcast is saying, but who's going to trust the election? Well, I mean, the winners get to make the law.
Who's going to trust the elections this year? Yeah. So
it doesn't really matter if you trust them or not. If someone's declared the winner, they get to make the rules. So
right. I need to step away for a second. So Travis, you're in charge. So you and Tony have a conversation.
What? All right. Yeah. So boy,
they said you because I'm not prepared.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just kind of odd that the ATF has only ordered the JSD supply to stop doing their sales, but you don't seem to. I mean, I went to 80% arms today, and their stuff is still for sale. I mean, I think if anything, now people are going to be buying it more than ever because they're maybe scared about a possible threat of some sort of a ban coming in or whatnot. I mean, I don't want to see anything happen at all. I mean, I'm just kind of curious if they would bring something in, if it would be grandfathered in or not. It just sometimes seems with firearm stuff that's just not the case. It's like now it's either needs to be licensed and registered or it's illegal. It's an either or. We don't ever seem to get that leeway that other people do with stuff.
I've always kind of honestly, this is my honest opinion, I've always looked at the 80% stuff as like a protest action, like because they're not that I mean, they're not.
Well, isn't the Second Amendment a protest action though too? When you think about it, it's telling the government that we won't comply with your tyranny. The whole Second Amendment's a protest. Yeah, the whole 2A is a protest when you think about it. It says that we won't go by your.
It's part of the Bill of Rights. It's not a protest. It's not a protest.
Well, it's telling the government that we we're the ones in the end that you cannot you can't control us.
If they try to take it away, we should protest. But the Second Amendment itself is not a protest.
But when it comes to the
Amendment to the protest, is the Third Amendment, is the Fourth Amendment, or the other amendment?
Whether you go by a Traditions, Kentucky muzzle loader, or you buy an 80% receiver blank, in the end you're making your own gun. I mean, so you're just doing what the law allows you to do. So I mean, I guess I don't really see it as a protest. I don't see it as like a middle finger to anybody. It's like I'm doing something the law says I can do. Just like turning your car into a hot rod, you can legally do it.
It's a bit of 2A anarchy. Come on now. Don't just be honest.
Being able to make your own firearm? No, it's a right.
Well, I'm saying if someone tells you can't, then you just go out and deliberately do it. Then that's sort of it's a little bit of anarchy, which good anarchy. It's not bad anarchy, right?
Yeah, but anything becomes anarchy when you do something you're not supposed to.
All right, I'm back.
Go away.
We're just debating the kind of the nature of the 80% build,
Okay, well, I'm glad you guys are having this conversation, Tony. I'm glad you jumped in and you're hanging out with us tonight.
I'm just saying that I'm just practicing them right. I'm allowed to do. I'm not doing it to make any statement. I'm doing it because I am making my own firearm. I'm allowed to, and I really enjoy the whole process of machining metal and assembling something and making something from nothing.
Well,
you understand that, Tony.
I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I bought that 3D printer 10 years ago to print guns and knives. Just to show them that I could, right? The knife wouldn't cut paper, right? It wouldn't do anything. You could probably stab somebody with it. The gun blew up when you shot it. So, it's not, they're not effective. You're just doing it because you can, which is cool. But let's be honest about it. You wouldn't go buy a 3D printed knife for a hunting knife or, for self-protection. Right. So you would do it to support the idea that you could.
Well, I don't know. None Fancy featured a polymer knife, and he said it's good to keep in your shower for emergencies because
but we're not going to take his word for it, okay?
But because it doesn't rust. I wouldn't want to be stabbed by that thing. I mean, that's not a bad idea to have something there when you're something happens and somebody attacks you and you got time to go for your piece. What do you do?
It won't rust or anything like that.
No, not at all. No, and it's got just enough edge on it that you could use it to not necessarily slash but stab if you had to defend yourself as a last stand implement.
Mm-hmm.
So I just jumped in here and had no idea exactly what you guys are talking about, but I heard 3D printing and knives, and so I'm assuming that's the topic. I used to be a corrections officer guys would sharpen a toothbrush into a stabbing implement, and they were very deadly. So the idea that something 3D printed couldn't be deadly, I mean,
it's not that a 3D printed thing couldn't be deadly. It's it's more so that even if you ban guns, even if you say 3D printing is illegal, the criminal mind is going to find something else to latch onto to use.
Yeah.
No, the point I was making is that if you had the choice for self-defense, okay, between a real knife, carbon steel blade, or a plastic knife, you would probably select the carbon steel blade.
Most likely, you're probably right.
If it's for self-defense, I mean, initial reaction, yeah, I'm going with the carbon steel blade. However, if I'm just using it as a stabbing implement for self-defense, I'm not going to say 100%. I mean, if the plastic blade had been run through some pretty vigorous tests by other people and I got to see those, then that might sway my opinion. Otherwise, if I was just buying it to see, then, I'm going to run it through tests. And if I'm like, you know what, this is going to be just fine.
I printed the thinnest edge on that 3D printed knife I printed, and it still would just kind of barely cut paper. You had to kind of drag it through the paper.
But we're not talking about something made to
I know.
We're talking about for self-defense, and that's a different animal at that point.
Yeah. And see, I think you and other people tend to defend what I like to see is objective thinking, right? So we should have the right to print 3D printed knives and guns. Yes. Are they the most effective thing? No. That's objectivity.
I've always said that.
And
are they going to be the most effective?
We have to remain objective.
They're going to. Are they going to last as long as possible as a steel gun? No. But the point is, the 3D printing, it's there to like, if you need a part and you need it quick, you can 3D print a part and then use that part. And if that part breaks, you can just make another one. That's what it's meant for.
They have utility. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. They wouldn't be so popular if they didn't have utility.
And that's what I was getting at. Is they're there for more the utility than they are for, hey, you can make guns with them. Well, yes, you can make firearms with them, but again, are they going to be as good as, say, a firearm made out of steel? No. Everyone knows this. Are they going to work? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could get some higher quality polymer, and with enough money invested in your printer, I think you could probably make something fairly industrial in its nature that would hold up well. I mean,
not arguing that. That's not the argument.
Yeah.
It's just. I'm just saying.
But in general, no, probably not.
The utility of it makes them. It can be used for anything. Like, say, my friend Flying Rich, who was out there earlier. His vacuum for his pool broke, and he needed rollers, and he didn't feel like spending like $80 for the rollers for his pool vacuum, so he 3D printed rollers for it, and it worked. Okay, it's the utility, how useful it is. So, and I know I'm going on a soapbox on that, and I'm sorry about that. I know you guys are getting quiet on me.
Well, I mean, it's maybe where things are going. I wouldn't be surprised if you start hearing about, 3D printed frames and grip modules and whatnot made by companies. I mean, the auto industry is already doing this right now out of metal and polymer. Mercedes is 3D printing heads for their vehicles because it's faster and cheaper, and they can control everything in-house and not have to rely upon an external supplier. So,
Tony, that's a good use of that AARP card.
I'm going to use that number and go get a discount at the bingo party.
Yeah.
People actually thought that was a real card.
That's the fake one they send you to get you to re-sign out.
Guy makes a knife out of Jello. Have you guys seen that one? The Jello knife?
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah,
makes it out of the Jello and like bakes it and does stuff with it. And it makes a freaking wicked thin blade. Yeah. So you better keep the Jello out of the prisons too. Don't keep them around that powder because that can be made into a knife pretty easily. There you go. Look at that. See, that's Nice little 100% recyclable letter opener. So there you go. I mean, you could put a little edge on that, couldn't you? With just some stone.
That is with an edge. The problem is that if you think your cheap knife won't hold an edge, plastic won't hold it worth a darn.
Yeah.
No.
And that little point, what I was going to make, the point I was going to make was that little point lasted about, I don't know, a couple of days on the end of that little point right there.
Yeah.
And it
Before
was,
it got dull,
it's gone now. I still have this knife even 10 years later. And
that is an artisan knife right there. Definitely an artisan knife.
It is artisan. It says it on there.
Artisan means unsymmetrical, handcrafted, and overpriced.
Look how rough 3D printing was 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh!
Look how rough.
Oh, I thought that was planned.
No, that right there.
That's some wicked stippling you got there, man.
And that was a $900 printer.
And it's still pretty rough right now because look at that. You see that? Still pretty rough.
What?
Dude, that came out awesome.
Yeah.
You just got to sand it down a little bit and file it down a little bit.
I can sand it. I can sand it. I could use you can use a heat gun to make it, all uniform. I can do a lot of things to
what was the solvent we would dip stuff in?
Acetone.
Yeah, acetone to smooth it out.
Yeah, I don't know if that works with PLA plus.
Probably would.
I used ABS. Yeah, back in the day, ABS was supposed to be stronger.
Right now, PLA plus is better for guns. They say.
Yeah.
So, and what Rob D is saying indecent things, saying it sounds like Night Strike is making a girlfriend. Rob, you first. Maybe Rob will eventually make a wife.
Weird science.
Wait, Rob would make
Warsaw
your wife.
says that Night Strike, crazy idea. What if you made a message on the polymer 80% and engraved an important message on it that said, "I stand with Ukraine," and it would be protected under the First Amendment as well? Well, the problem is that the ATF doesn't recognize the First Amendment. Yeah. It says it might be stupid, but that would be it'd be called protection under the free speech. Well, it would, yes, but again, you still wouldn't have the right to do it because of the ATF. Defense Dad is out there saying, evening. So, all right, we're pretty much at the hour now. So, let's wind down and go through the room and see if anybody has anything they want to let everybody know about. So, Tony, do you have anything, any shows upcoming that you want people to know about, hang out and comment on?
No, but I'm mad at you because now I want a new 3D printer.
Dude, I told you, just go to Micro Center.
Probably wants that. It's a legacy machine.
I'm going to go get. I think
go to Micro Center in Chattanooga. Go and get the $99 printer because you're not going to get a better printer.
No, I'm going to get the resin printer. The new what is it?
Oh, you want to get one of the resin ones? Okay, well, good.
Yeah,
good luck there.
They've got one that's $2.99 that looks really good.
All right. All right.
Anyway,
so no words of wisdom?
No.
Okay. All right.
Never.
Travis, words of wisdom?
Yeah, a lot of stuff to say here. First of all, check out my channel, Travis P11, and we've got our Caliber Corner weekly edition and weekend edition that we'll be doing. With summer coming up here, I don't know if I'll continue the Thursday show or not, but I'm definitely doing the Saturday show. There will be a Thursday episode this Thursday at 6:00 Central Time over on my YouTube channel, Travis P11, and then also Saturday morning at 8 a.m. we'll have another show. That weekend that we've got Thunder on the Prairie coming up on 4th, our little YouTuber range day that we have coming up here.
Yep.
There's a possibility that I won't be doing Caliber Corner that whole weekend, or if I do, it might be like a late episode on Sunday, maybe do a recap of the event, let everybody know how it goes. So I might be going live while somebody else is going live. I'm sorry. I purposely take crappy time slots that nobody wants, so I don't ever interfere with your show. So I just want to get that out there. But we got a lot of good sponsors on board, and we just got Mead Industries on board with us, and they've just gotten into the ammo manufacturing game. They do projectiles. They do machines that make projectiles. They do machines that stamp metal. They're a Nebraska-based business, and they are going to be donating some ammo for the event. I'll be picking that up soon. I've got ammo that I purchased for the event. It's going to be a good time, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Yeah, man.
Guns and Barbecue. Is there anything you want people to know about or be aware of?
I was just going to mention real quick. Isn't there an annealing process for the PLA Plus frames?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up yet.
I heard about some guys that are sticking them in their oven to anneal them, make them a little bit stronger. So
Well,
might be
you
something
can
to look
use a
into
heat
as well.
gun instead of an oven.
You can't heat it too much; it'll melt.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, that's
So
why I think they're doing it in the oven at a slow rate.
A lower, slower temperature, probably.
Yep. So, like I said, it's just something else for people to look into.
Nope.
And thanks for the invite.
Yep. I'm glad you finally found it.
That's like the second one I've gotten in the longest time. I don't know.
I've been sending them to you. I don't know what
Yeah, beats the heck out of me. But I had a notification saying hit or miss or whatever. It's like, oh snap, I got an invite. Cool. So
yeah, I know we're doing it a little earlier today because I got other obligations I have to take care of tonight. So we took somebody else's time slot, and from what the conversations I've had with other people was like, you got to do your show earlier, just do your show. So don't Travis, don't be afraid to do your show at an odd hour.
Oh, I know. I don't want to. I really don't. It has nothing to do with views and stuff. It's just I don't want to try to go live when somebody else is going live, especially maybe if it's a smaller channel that doesn't have a lot of viewers. I don't want to pull anybody away from that, or just not go at the same time as a bigger channel because I'd like to maybe be on their show also. So yeah. No, I hear you, man. And Caliber Corner's switched a little bit from time to time, but we typically just do the 8 a.m. Central Time on Saturday, so we're good.
All right. Well, with that, guys, I will see you guys later. You guys take it easy. And with that, shall not be infringed. Oh, how do I turn this damn thing off?
Hey, Felicia, can I borrow your 3D printer?
adios, Felicio.
Te amo, Felicia. Te amo.
George got here
where'd
just
you
in
put my
time to
board
speak
butter?
Spanish.
So,
Vamos, Felicia. Vámonos.
Travis, how do you say Felicia? Don't print that gun.
It'd be Felicia no imprimes esta arma.
There we go. Go.
It's not Gunno.
It's not Gunno.
No, it'd be pistola or arma or rifle or escopeta.
It's not no problemo
or whatever the hell George calls it down in their Tex-Mex Spanish.
Yeah.
We call it un AR-15, Chico.
AR-15. They say
There you go. Or the cuerno, what the hell they call it?
Chivo is AK-47.
Cuerno de Chivo, yeah, AK-47, yeah.
That sounds like tequila.
It sounds like tequila, doesn't it?
Tequila. No, Chiva.
or even worse, it sounds like mezcal.
Yeah, mezcal is rough stuff, man. That stuff is mezcal. Goddamn. Yeah. I'll tell you